Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hello YouTube. I'm actually going to go ahead and get Instagram live. There's this new feature on Instagram. So I have a feeling that that might be one of the reasons. Let me just cue them up. Okay. All right. So welcome, everybody. Hello. Happy Wednesday and welcome to December. Oh my goodness, I have some insane news to report. Let me just put my keyboard over here. We are in the beginning of, I'm going to say explosive growth here with the coronavirus here in the United States. So let me just say the news today is not the greatest, but I have some interesting news also on the front of how we're kind of dealing with this. So that's one thing. For all of you joining on YouTube, the live chat is on, super chats are on. And I'm saying super chats today because this is really exciting. Instagram has tapped our channel on Instagram to be in their badges beta test. I don't know. So they're trying to compete with YouTube, and for creators like myself, a lot of folks on YouTube will do a super chat, and it's a way to support our channel. There's like a little emoji, a happy face, and then the little dollar sign on YouTube. Well, apparently it came through last night as I was literally doing some shopping, that we now have the badges function on Instagram. So for all of you Instagram followers that want to support our channel, there is a way to do that. And so I think I have to figure out the details, but I think you can hit my or tap on your own profile, and it allows you to do a badge. And basically a badge is 1 heart, I think is 99 cents. 2 hearts is, I think, $2.99 or $1.99. And then 3, it goes all the way up to $4.99. So I don't know. But I'm just putting it out there. But in any way, what's important to us today is that we're going to talk about an amazing therapeutic resource. After we get through the news, so all of you new joining, my name is Dr. Melissa Gallagher. I report Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, coronavirus updates and news and information to help equip all of you to be healthy and well during this pandemic. And I always have the latter part, the second half of our show, be focused on tools, tips, resources, techniques, sometimes it's therapeutics, that are a great adjunct in addition to your health and wellness regimens at home. Today, I want to highlight the Halo Pocket. You guys saw this. If you haven't watched our gift guide, I highlighted this. I'm very excited. I know many of you had a lot of questions, and so I thought, well, today I think it's really relevant. Also, we've been using it since we've gotten it, and I want to share the details to you about that. And today, we are going to get into a lot of news. Before, quick housekeeping. If you guys didn't watch, I posted a new video about moringa. There's some amazing research, COVID-specific research and moringa. So if you're curious about how moringa, phytonutrients and compounds compare to antivirals, it's been studied, and I think you'll find that really fascinating. The other thing, I got an email this morning. So our Cyber Monday 2-day sale in my full script dispensary, they apparently have had such a huge request from folks to extend it. They've added 1 more day to the sale. So do check that out. There's a link down below. If you want to click to get my free pandemic wellness guide, you can set up your own patient account. That guide is free. I actually have a few protocols that are live and open to the public. So check that out. The other thing, I highlighted this hemp-based mask. This is a copper polyester on the outer side, and inside it's this green or black hemp is what it's called. It's a green color, but this is an antimicrobial mask, and it's really breathable for folks that have some of the allergies that or sensitivities to some of the other materials you might be wearing. Highly protective. I'm really excited about the copper infusion. Ananda Health is the brand, and we sell these only in our full script store. And you can get 25% off everything site-wide. So if you take probiotics and regular vitamins and, buy nutrients for your pets and your kids, and I even have a gift, like a stocking stuffer list of items, mostly under $20, but there's some really good stuff. So definitely check that out. Link down below. Today, last day of the 25% off sale. Super exciting. You know, I love sales. Okay, let's dig into some news. I literally, when I pulled the information this morning about the numbers, I had to do a double take because I thought, wait a second, like what's happened from our live show on Monday to today? A lot. And it's quite tragic in terms of the quantity of numbers I'm going to report. Worldwide, the world's at almost, I mean, literally today, probably now, we've hit 64 million total cases of coronavirus. Yesterday, the worldwide, we collectively put up 648,208. So 648,208 new COVID cases worldwide. That's over 500,000 in a day. The US, let's talk about our situation. We are at 13.86 million cases in total of coronavirus. Yesterday was by far our worst day ever, doubling some cases numbers from last week. We had 247,175 new coronavirus cases. Yes, so 247,000 new cases. I'm just going to flip back to Monday. We had 141,000, almost 142,000 new cases. That's insane. And as reflective of coronavirus increases in terms of folks testing positive, there's a percentage that it'll be fatal. We have had a crazy high of 2,616 fatalities. It's the third time since May 16th that we've hit over 2,500 new fatalities. That is 2,616 Americans that should not have lost their lives due to this virus. New modeling is coming out just based on details and statistics of people moving around last week. We had 6 million people move around with Thanksgiving, and with that comes new modeling from the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluations. That's out of Seattle, the university there. They are projecting that we will have, by the end of this month, so we're talking 3.5 weeks, we will have 336,000 total fatalities. That is about 80,000 more than what we're looking at now. So we are going to be in that 2,000 mark, unfortunately, or higher. So we need to buckle up. I'm going to share with you just yesterday. Oh, sorry, we have our neighbors are getting their trees done or their roof done. And so our dogs are just going nuts. Okay. We've had record-breaking days yesterday. Tuesday, we broke records all over. States broke records, hospitalizations broke records. I'm going to break down details for all of you who are in states here. Florida hit 1 million total cases. They're the third state to hit the 1 million club mark, not the club you want to be in. And they set a huge record. They had 15,000 total positive cases come through yesterday. And we know that with a lot of the reporting, I want to make sure my mic is on. Yeah, it's on. The challenge is too, is there are testing delays. So we're probably going to see that number increase as well. Our total national hospitalization broke records yesterday. We have 100,000 people hospitalized due to COVID. Actually, it was 98,691. I rounded up, just want to clarify, it's just under 99,000. Maryland has experienced a 51% increase in hospitalizations. The states that have the highest hospitalization rates are South Dakota, Nevada, Indiana, Nebraska, and Montana. And those are, if you're familiar and you live in those areas, there's a lot of rural communities, rural hospitals. And one of the things that I read yesterday on a medical-related blog, kind of clearinghouse of thought leaders, is that if a rural hospital or community hospital has just 1 or 2 nurses and doctors that don't have COVID asymptomatic, but they actually have symptoms, that they could lose the capacity to support their community, which is something we're not really thinking about. The other thing that we are seeing is that projections, this IHS the IHME projects not only the fatalities, but they also project hospitalizations. What they're expecting by December 21st, so that's a Saturday, that's in 2.5 weeks. They say that we will be adding anywhere from 6,700, okay, so 6,700 new patients to 30,000 new patients a day. I mean, that range is insane. How, as a hospital, do you staff that? And that's just COVID. That is not, your run-of-the-mill heart attack or stroke, which we're still having those. So just some mind-blowing numbers there. The other thing that we're seeing, the hardest hit states right now, 4 of the hardest hit states have no sort of statewide mask mandate, and they're paying the price of it. Okay, Texas, Wyoming, South Dakota, and Florida. Now, Texas has some localized areas where they're seeing it, but it's not, the compliance isn't there. Wyoming, they have 32,000 total cases, or have reached 32,000 total cases. They polled Wyomingians, I think is how you say, that group of folks from that state. Only 46.7% are wearing a mask. And apparently that number has increased. South Dakota, their positive percentage rate is 41%. Globally, the kind of threshold for massive community spread is really 2 to 3%. Anything above that means that you just have massive explosion. This is literally nearly one out of 2 people has coronavirus that's getting tested. If you have 1,000 people in line, you're going to have 410 of those be tested positive. That's what that percentage rate means. That is crazy. Florida, individual mayors, like the mayor where I grew up in St. Petersburg, they've employed mask mandating, but they're putting more pressure on the governor, who is in denial of that. But who knows what's going to happen as Florida increases. The other thing that happened Monday evening, it was announced, and yesterday, I guess it took full effect. The radiologist, the guy who does MRI scans, ended up becoming the lead doctor on the coronavirus task force. He resigned. Not quite clear on all the details as to why, but that's very good news. He was a COVID denier and literally recommended people do Thanksgiving with the idea to develop herd immunity. And this week, there's more detail out of Sweden. That whole herd immunity kind of theory, it's a theory, that was going around in the spring, and Sweden was doing great. Sweden's not doing great. They actually have a massive outbreak, and they are employing lockdowns and mandates, just like every other country that's trying to get a handle on this. And so the Swedish, it's going to be called the Swedish experiment at some point in the future. But that experiment of herd immunity has failed, and that could very well be the underpinning in terms of why he's resigned. Now, the other thing I do want to make a note on is that, and I'm trying to hit a lot of states you guys are in. Oregon has had the highest day of fatalities yesterday. So Oregon set a record. Mississippi, out of all of the 50 states here in the US, they have the most hospitalizations. And now they have about 65% of the counties have some degree of restrictions. Kentucky had the worst day yesterday. They set records in both the quantity of coronavirus cases and fatalities. LA County, so all of you out in California, LA County had their worst day of cases and hospitalizations. They actually have a new mandate that went into effect. Oh, I haven't even changed December. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at November's calendar, you guys. Well, that was stupid. Okay, so I may have said some like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. It's all relative. But so on the 30th, so November 30th, LA County, their new restrictions, no outdoor dining. So California restaurants, no outdoor dining. And they have limited social gatherings to only folks inside the household. So if you were, let's say, to go to a park, you can only gather with those you live with. And so there cannot be the commingling, intermingling of other households. And that is to try to limit the spread. I also want to highlight the UK had stats that came out. It came out Monday. I feel like I saw it, but I didn't have confirmation, so I didn't report it. But later Monday afternoon, I saw full confirmation. They have reporting that those lockdowns that occurred in November decreased the cases by 30%. So the UK kind of escaped the degree of incline that we are seeing now. Okay, let's talk about some really critical details. So globally, Interpol and kind of international crime investigators and folks that are involved in international crime, they are saying that international criminal networks are going to be targeting vaccine distribution, vaccine education. The plan supposedly is that these criminal networks are going to try and infiltrate and disrupt supply chains of the distribution process. That's problematic for a multitude of reasons. One of the things they said is that these people not only are going to try and physically disrupt our and everybody's the global capacity to get vaccines, but that they are going to be public. They're going to target the public via social media and websites, and that there will be fake websites and fake stories and fake news surrounding the vaccine. This also plays into a statement yesterday that the Red Cross chief, the overall director of the Red Cross, said that he called this fake news, the whole conspiracy BS. He called that the second pandemic, and we're seeing that these crime organizations are going to target that. Now, the other thing, and there's some evidence already that they're showing, is that North Korea actually tried to hack into AstraZeneca computer system. So AstraZeneca is the Oxford trial. That's the one that I feel like that has the most promise. Whether we're going to see that vaccine here in the next year, highly doubtful. But AstraZeneca is working on this vaccine trial with Oxford University. And apparently North Korean hackers tried to hack into the AstraZeneca system. So we're already seeing that. And on the North Korea note, apparently China supplied the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, with their experimental vaccine. So he and his family have been vaccinated. One of the reasons why is the capital city is showing increases, which is really crazy when you think about they have limited connectivity, but it could very well be coming in through shipments of food and whatnot. But the North Korean capital is actually in a lockdown. But that's just kind of what we're dealing with globally. Here in the U.S., this is mind-blowing, and I feel like it's expected. I'd reported, I think, 3 weeks ago that Italy and one of their cancer institutes and some data research that they had. I think it was on lung cancer. It was kind of a unique cancer that you wouldn't think they'd get data about coronavirus. And Italy had come out and said that they had shown through some of these samples that the coronavirus was actually in Italy in September of 2019. Well, we have our own study here. You might hear about it today. The Red Cross, this was a study with the Red Cross. What they identified is that blood that the Red Cross had collected between December 13th of 2019 through the 17th of January. So about a month period of blood collection. They sampled 7,389 blood bank samples. And out of those, 106 of these folks' blood had shown that there were antibodies, which it indicates the coronavirus was here at minimum in December, if not November. And so that's really big news. I know that a lot of you have said, I feel like I had it, or my husband or somebody I know was really ill and had, a lot of respiratory grief, or maybe they had pneumonia or were diagnosed with some other kind of ailment and had antibiotics and just really felt run down. We're now seeing in December blood work, blood draws, that there's antibodies already, which means there could be infection as early as the last part of November, if not earlier. So that we'll probably learn more. It's fascinating. We can get this information that's already there and tap into, and that has happened. The CDC here is looking at cutting their recommendations. I keep going back and forth with these recommendations. The CDC is looking at cutting quarantine time in the event that you get COVID. It's recommended 14 days, and it's still highly recommended. But what they're seeing is that Americans, being quite American, are balking the quarantine and literally bucking the system. And what they're finding is that if they drop down the quarantine time to 7 days, they feel like there'll be greater compliance. And that also will limit the economic hardship. Problem is, there's still a small amount of risk. I'm not comfortable with that smaller amount of risk, and nor should any of us be. But we have folks that are not even wearing masks. And so, yeah, there's these guys. Hopefully you guys can't hear it. It's really loud over here. Okay, so that's one thing. The FDA is really getting a lot of heat and pressure on them about the vaccines. We are weeks away, potentially, of like go time of this process of getting out vaccines. The FDA announced yesterday that vaccines will be ready in 24 hours of the approval. Now, Moderna on Monday applied for this special use authorization. The FDA has to approve it, but there's also a secondary body, a nonpartisan independent review board that is going to be looking at the efficacy and assessing all the data that's being presented. That we don't know how long that's going to take, but the FDA is saying in the statement, we're ready. And as soon as we get the green light, we are in go mode. And Monday I reported, if you didn't see that show, we have the airlines that are on board with this. So really big news. Apparently within 24 hours, they will be pumping out 5 to 10 million vaccines each week, and it'll exponentially grow. States are starting to prepare their plans for getting this. You know, there are state nursing facilities and other communities that have been hard hit. They're prepping and setting their processes in place to be able to be ready by the 11th of December. Pfizer's already said that they should be a go by the 15th, and Moderna said by the 22nd. So there's still a delay. I mean, more than likely, the last week of December might be more realistic in terms of when we see the first set of vaccines getting out there and into people's bodies. Now, nursing homes, I forgot to mention this. Nursing homes have been the hardest hit. And what we've seen is that just from mid-September, so right around the time that, the beginning of the fall, mid-September to the 15th of November, that time frame. Overall, here in the US, there's been an increase in weekly cases by 177%. The Midwest has been the hardest hit with increases of over 400%. And, comment down below, raise your hand if you have a loved one in a nursing facility or in any type of community like that. By the way, Instagram, you guys, the badges is on. I don't know if you guys have ever done badges on the live show. It's this new kind of rollout that they have, but you can support our Instagram show by, I think, clicking on your profile, and you can get a heart badge. You can get 1, 2, or 3. So check it out, you guys. I'm curious to see how that works. Okay, so more news. This is really fascinating. This probably won't make any type of news, but I love this. The University of Pennsylvania, so UPenn and Regeneron have a study. So Regeneron is the monoclonal antibody cocktail that the president had and some other folks have had. Small little trial. The likelihood of it really moving out into the community access is months away. But the Regeneron has the antibodies that they're showing the most response to. And this company, a company that uses nasal spray technology, and it's a gene-related technology where they've been able to put in other cases these antibodies to treat animals and humans for other viruses. And it's this technology where, and it's called an adeno-associative virus. And it's where this technology, this gene technology, allows an imprinting of this DNA. So we've got RNA and DNA, puts imprinting of DNA inside an existing virus, and it's able to be engineered into fully and in a healthy way, carry out DNA to the cells to then it's literally it's just one of these things. Like, the technology is so insane. It's like computer coding, but it's gene coding, and these antibodies and these particular genes, when incorporated with an antibody of a virus or antibody to a virus, it helps to send signals and to communicate. It's like a SIM card or like a hard drive with details to be able to help the body respond to this virus. So this technology, they're studying it in a nasal spray. So a nasal spray delivery that would have the same monoclonal antibodies that Regeneron is using. That's why Regeneron's part of this. They would be engineered into this adeno-associative virus. And it would be the technology plus these Regeneron antibodies delivered via a spray. And what they're anticipating right now, they're in animal trial. What they're anticipating is that the spray, what they've seen in the past, the sprays have a milder response, so the side effects are not as great. And it's targeting where we see the spread through the nasal passages and the throat passages. So I think it's very fascinating, very promising. Again, it might be something where it's going to take a little bit of time for that to work itself out, but just FYI. Two other things, and then we'll get to halotherapy as a really good therapeutic resource. One, I want to share with you that right now, countries have put in orders for vaccines. I just want to highlight for all of you who are like, the vaccines, the magic bullet, there is going to help, but I need to be clear with you. We have the worst situation, worst quantity of cases. You think we'd be number one in ordering vaccines. Right now, India has the greatest quantity of vaccine orders in. They have ordered 1.6 billion vaccines. The UK has ordered 1.4 billion, and the US has ordered 1 billion. So there is, again, that virus, the vaccine race I've talked about. Countries are going to be trying to secure these vaccines. And the US has the worst amount of cases, and we're not number one for ordering up these vaccines. I don't know why. I don't know the breakdown of that specifically, but I wanted to highlight that. And then I always try and give you guys some sort of positive sense of news in the event that any of you are in Latin America and can travel around. The good news for you is Machu Picchu has eased their COVID visitor limitations. So there you have it. Machu Picchu is slowly coming back to access points. Now, before we start our live show, I have to share with you, I'm going to unmic and I have to share with you, I'm so excited. You guys, I hit Aldi like 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I got the cutest leggings. Are these not the cutest little things? So these are super soft leggings from Aldi. And I'm not doing an Aldi video, but I had to share with you. They're super soft on the outside, really comfortable on the inside. They've got like a felt lining, and they have llamas. And they had some other ones. I go with size small, which usually you only get like 1 or 2 packs. But they had a huge abundance of them, and they had some green like elf ones, super cute. So if you guys want to check out Aldi, I'm just loving my leggings today. Okay. All right, so we're mic'd up. Okay, so are you guys ready to talk about halotherapy? I was really excited. You guys have probably, if you followed me for at least 2 years, 3 years, since we've been living here in Georgia, I have greater access to halotherapy here than I did at home. And halotherapy is an ancient technique, not technique, it's an ancient therapeutic where in the old days, thousands of years ago, they would have people go into salt caves and convalesce in inhaling salt, saline enhanced air. And that is what halotherapy is. It is the utilization of salt infused particulates in microscopic size that can get up into your sinus passageways and allows for a reduction in mucus, a reduction in inflammation, clears all the sinus passageways. When inhaled also through the nose and the mouth, it can also clear sinus congestion, lymphatic issues. It's great for unclogging and unplugging the ears. It's amazing. And with coronavirus, the traditional kind of method of going to your salts, I call them salt spas, but there are dedicated businesses that they've got open rooms or individual treatment rooms where they've got salt on the walls, salt on the floor, and then they've got these injections where they infuse saline, pharmaceutical grade saline that's ground up into the right microscopic particulate size for you to inhale. Well, with coronavirus, those have been limited, and a lot of those facilities are limiting the quantity of people there. And, these large community rooms, that's very common. That's not really advisable. Even with salt, it's still not advisable. To inhale, you'd take your mask off and be in there. So it's been something I've personally looked at. I mean, that was one of the major issues for us in the spring. What are we going to do? For us, I use it therapeutically, especially with Gabriel. He's had some challenges with his ear canals. He has one ear that seems like the canal's a little bit, internally, the mechanics of it's a little bit problematic. That's how I treat him. And it's also great for just inhaling and relaxing. And so I've looked around. The brands that are out there. Some of these units are really expensive. You can buy these kind of pre-built units, but they're thousands of dollars. And so that was not going to be an option. And then, lo and behold, some technology shows up, and the Halo Pocket becomes a portable option for halotherapy. And I shared this on my gift guide. So this is something that's new out 2020. And basically, this Halo Pocket comes with pharmaceutical grade salt in this little vial. And it has this machine. I'll try and take all this stuff off if I can show you guys. It has this machine that grinds up. So inside, it's basically a halo generator, a mini halo generator. I don't know if you guys can see that on YouTube, but Instagram, you guys can probably see it. I've got salt. You see how it's really in small particle. So it's been ground up. We use this every day, and I'll share with you how we use it. And I'll share with you all these benefits. Comment down below if you guys have used halotherapy before, done a salt spa, salt cave. So this little unit is pretty awesome. It's got a magnetic charger, so it is battery powered. You can plug in. When it's full, and when it's charging, it turns red, and then it turns, I think, blue or green when it's fully charged. But this will last 2 or 3 days in terms of a charge. And you add a certain amount of salt. Let me just open this up for you a little bit more. So this upper part pops off, and I'm going to have a lot of salt in here because I've been doing my treatment. It's hard to see. Instagram, you can probably see it a little bit better, but inside, you put the salt in, and then you put this cap on, and then you put a cap on this, and then you push this button. I don't know if you guys can hear that. So it's grinding. So I'm doing my little grinding. Usually grind your salt for 10 to 12 seconds when there's fresh salt in. And I always kind of tap it because these little particles, they're gathering on the sides. And then when you want to inhale, you literally press this button. I'm hoping you guys will be able to see this. See? Yeah, there you go. That's the saline. That is what you get in a salt spa. But you get it. Oh, it's so good. I can feel it going right up my nose. It is really intense. I've been making Brian do this. And he's had a lot of sinus drainage that gives him digestive issues. And what we're finding is that the mucus clearing is pretty amazing. But literally, this is how it works. You fill up your little halo generator. This lasts 2 to 3 months. And I'm using it every day. We push a little button. You see the salt fumes coming up, and you inhale it. Oh, then you can inhale it through your mouth. I mean, what I experience is it is much more intense than just doing saline spray. It comes up through the passageways, and then you can just kind of feel it infiltrating. And my immediate response is my ears start draining. I get ear popping. There's been a lot of pressure changes for us. That it's freezing cold. I think it was 20 something last night, or in the teens. It's really hard for our sinuses to adjust to that. And a lot of times they get really dry. Well, the salt, when we're inhaling the saline through this halotherapy, I'm going to keep doing it. Oh, it's so good. And you can taste it. Like I can taste it on my lips. And it's very similar to the salt cave experience and, my salt spa experience. I just feel like this is accelerated because it's so targeted. You're holding it and you're inhaling it. So I just want to share with you guys what this looks like. These are not something you can get online on Amazon or any place. This is through distributors like myself. So this company, honestly, this company is the company that if I were to have in my in-person clinic and I wanted to have a salt cave installed, they would do that installation. So this company itself, they are the ones that create the massive salt caves and salt spas and independent, little rooms that you can go in and have the halo generator technology. The amazing part is the response to 2020 and the changes. They have this portable unit and it's just under $800. I know that sounds like a lot, but if you invest like we do in going to the salt spa quite a bit, or you have chronic sinus infections, respiratory challenges, COPD, asthma, chronic bronchitis, chronic upper respiratory challenges for whatever reason, this daily will be life-changing. And it just is from the push of a button and inhaling saline. So I love this. And when it comes to this virus, it's nasty when it comes to the respiratory grief that people experience. So Halo Pocket is the name. I'll share with you. Halo Pocket. I sell these in my clinic store, my in-person store. So there's a link down below if you want to grab them. Through my store, the way my credit card processing is set up, we are a clinician's practice, a medical practice. So you can use your HSA and your health savings plans, your health cards. So that does qualify and you get a receipt and all that good stuff. But I also want to share with you, they give you all the items that you would need. Oh, I have my plug is upstairs in my warehouse office. But you get this great little brush, little wand. This is what you use to clean out the Halo Pocket of saline. So depending on the humidity levels of where you live, they actually recommend you emptying it out. We're below 50% humidity. And so this is the least humid time of our year. So I've been keeping the saline in here with just the cap itself on. And the cap, it unscrews and then you get this little hole. And then when you press it, see all of that comes out. It's amazing. I hate wasting the salt. I want to get it to come. So the other thing that this does, it has a wonderful effect for your skin. So folks that have skin conditions, the saline can also help clear that up. Salt is super healing. It is antimicrobial for folks that have chronic challenges with yeast and just overwhelming amount of puffiness. Lymphatically, the Halo Pocket and salt therapy also will motivate the lymphatics. It gets things moving and decongests a lot of those cavities, the sinus passageways that are causing inflammation. If you can reduce the inflammation of soft tissue and mucosal membranes like the sinuses, the ear canals, and the ear passageway, the eustachian tubes, and the throat, you are putting yourself in a better position to be healthy. So these are great. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. I posted that on, I'm feeling it. My effect is not always instant. Sometimes when we go to the salt spa, I'll get like a little bit of a runny nose, but the aftermath of it, I really feel it. I feel this draining now. So, and I haven't felt like I've had a lot of sinus congestion, but it just clears out all of that inflammation. So it's really wonderful. I'm super excited. Okay. Oh gosh, Emily's got dental visit. So I'm curious, have you guys